You're welcome into the locker room on a hump of the week Wednesday morning. This is the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. We love music, we love life, we love sports, and that is why we are here right now. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's what we get up to, talking about the beautiful world of sports at 8:15 a.m. My name is Ayokunmi, and thank you once again for being a part of the show, as you always are. It's a very interesting time to talk sports today. It's going to be a lot of footballing action. So many things to get into competitions, transfer news. You want it, we've got it right here. And it's an interactive session, as you know. So I'll be letting you know how you can join the discussion. But joining me to take a look at the stories, analyze, and of course, share banter where banter needs to be shared, making a return to the studio in the person of Mr. Deep himself, Kenny Idris. Very good morning to you, Kenny. Good to have you on the show once again.
Good to be here, Ayokunmi. It's fantastic joining you once more in the locker room, right there on 98.1 Smooth FM. I really love what the menu looks like. And yes, it's a lot of football, but different angles. We're talking currency, we're talking, young hold, and a whole lot. Africa, then the world. So,
Mm-mm.
can't wait to dive in. Can't really wait to start talking and going deep into the world.
Yes, indeed. I'm glad you said the menu because as you said menu, I was thinking of feasting on all the goodness on offer right here. And you listening to us, you can also
Exactly.
join in the feast by sending your messages on WhatsApp or joining us on YouTube. The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. You can also join the YouTube stream. That is the place that you need to be. Carry that chair, plant it in the front row. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Uche Naokwe already there. Patrick Pio also there as well. I'm sure with their cup of coffee and a snack or something. Let's begin the journey this morning. Let's talk about WAFCON. You say charity begins at home, home being
Yes.
Africa. Exactly. So just to update you with what's been going on, when we're here on Monday, we're talking about the Super Falcons. We hadn't concluded on the other groups. Now, those games have been concluded. Now, we know the full lineup for the quarterfinals. Now, all eyes were on the likes of South Africa and Nigeria during match day three at the 2025 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations this week as Banyana and the Super Falcons look ahead to the knockout phase of the tournament. Of course, Nigeria completed their third fixture in Group B with a 0-0 draw against Algeria. And it was a dominant display by the Falcons, yes, but it ended 0-0. But nevertheless, Nigeria qualified. Algeria also advanced to the next round. Morocco also made it through to the next round as well. Zambia joined them. Now in Group C, where there's South Africa, they claimed a 4-0 win against Mali. Very,
Yeah.
very powerful 4-0 win against Mali in their own tie. And then Ghana also joining them. I mean, Ghana had a slow start to the competition, but they found their way into the quarterfinals. And they'll be looking to win the competition for the first time. But do you think Ghana has an outside chance of pulling that off, Kenny?
I think with what we saw of Chelsea at the FIFA Club World Cup, you cannot say anybody does not stand a chance. That's a quick reminder. As long as you keep knocking down walls in front of you, then you stand a chance. For Ghana, right now going forward is them playing Algeria, and I don't think Algeria is one of those teams they can take out. Probably
Mm,
if they were playing maybe a Morocco or a South Africa or Nigeria, you can say maybe that's the end of the road. But Algeria, no disrespect to them, don't look like that team that can, take out Ghana. Ghana has the odds favors Ghana more for
yeah.
me. But it is what it is. Women's football, I think just a lot like women's sports. Aside the Super Falcons who got up quick and early from the 90s, there is no so much respect for each other. Talking about team playing, playing themselves. We've seen
Mm,
team take out themselves. Morocco. Okay, let's talk about the North Africans. They they just happen to start embracing women's football in recent time, and you can see their growth already. They are getting into the mix of proper conversation. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. So there is a chance for everybody. But Ghana have got a long way to go. There is a reason why they've never won it, because they play second or third or fourth fiddle to so many teams, like maybe Nigeria. There is
They
also
lost
South Africa
they
coming.
lost 3 finals to Nigeria.
To Nigeria, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been we've been the big sister to every team in Africa, and I think Ghana has tasted it more. I can remember 2018 at the backyard of Cameroon, the Super Falcons were there, 1-0 win, and they brought the trophy back home. So the Super Falcons have been up there, but so many teams have not been able to rub shoulder. For the Bayana, I think on Monday I said it that one of the things I respect about them is the fact that they are result oriented, and they needed that final game to qualify. 4-1, they beat Mali, and you can understand my angle now. When they need to get a result to help them propel to the next level or cross the line, I think the Bayana women, just like the Bafana, their men always find a way to get results. So Ghana playing Algeria in the quarterfinals, I think I fancy Ghana, but if anything doesn't go in the way of Ghana, I still wouldn't be so shocked because the women's for the women's football, just like so many women's sports, that there is not so much respect. I don't think they see each other's name. All they see is there is another bunch of women standing in front of us and want to bring them down. So Algeria, Ghana, surely I will have my eyes on that game. I want to see how it goes. If Algeria pulls through, then maybe we should slow down on looking at the Super Falcons as not scoring against the Algerians. Although the last time we played them, ended 6-2. So that tells you a reason why some Nigerians like us are not so happy when it ended 0-0, the last time out. So Ghana, are you ready? That's the question.
Ghana, are you ready? That's the question. Well, I am more focused on what the Super Falcons will be doing against the Zambians, Barbara Banda and co. I mean, at this point, now I know people say that you need to beat, you need to beat the best to actually be the best. But wouldn't it have been better to beat the best, maybe later on, maybe the final or something, than having to deal with that right now? Because we know that we discussed this on Monday as well. The Zambians will be a tough nut to actually crack for the Super Falcons. But it seems like the Falcons tend to come, to rise up to the occasion when they play the supposed stronger teams, as opposed to the smaller teams in course, like your Algerias, Tunisias, and so on and so forth. Those teams might give them a problem. But when they face the bigger ladies, as it were, they tend to rise up to the occasion. Yeah, the powerhouses.
Yeah,
Yes.
the powerhouses. Firstly, like the saying goes, you said, wouldn't it be better to play, the best later in the competition? Top players or top teams prefer to avoid each other up until when they cannot avoid each other no more. Maybe the semi-finals or the finals. So I allude to what you're saying. Boom, we're in the knockout round and we're already playing Zambia. I think at this point we should be playing like Mali or be playing, a lesser team. But it is what it is. If you have to be the best, you just have to, beat the best, however time that the best comes to you. And I think that's the story of the Super Falcons. Now, you said that you've seen the Super Falcons rise to the occasion. True and true. But this is my worry. In the last, say, like 3 editions, we've not seen that kind of spectacular Super Falcons who gradually gets into competition, who blow out teams, who show, even when they do not score or when they do not probably get the best of game, you still see a class Super Falcons. That is the worry. We've not seen that classy Super Falcons. And I was listening to the coach yesterday at the presser, and he said after the game, against Algeria, he said, these are the same ladies who continue to bang in goals against Ghana. We saw them against Algeria, that he doesn't know why they are not scoring, in this competition, especially the last 2 games. And that points out to a big worry. If a coach is saying there is a problem, and I don't know why, this problem persists, then Should it be Ayokunmi? Should it be Mr. Deep that would now know?
You are the
I think
manager.
that,
You are the one who's paid
you
to solve these
you
problems.
shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. You're creating even more fear and panic, in our minds and in our bodies. But I also listened to the players who said, the coach said no room for error. The players also, said that, and really did mean that. But Ayokumi, there is a proper problem in there. The body language, the way the ladies, move around, carry themselves. I think there is a lot more than football in the whole mix. We heard the story of bonuses, allowances, which has been an issue. And I wonder every now and then, why are the ladies not as respected as they should be? 9-time champions officially, 11-time champions unofficially, because we had two competitions that were maybe preparatory tournament before we
Yeah,
now
back
started
then.
the proper
Mm.
work back then. So they won the first two before they now won, the others. Now, if you have done so well, I think to those who have done so well, they get so much. The Super Falcons have not gotten that, and the stories just keep going on. And also after the game against Botswana, we had Aziza Toshoala storm of the field after she was substituted, but I think that might have been settled internally. Hopefully, it doesn't, bite the team, in the back. Because against Algeria, we saw a bit of a team that is not so together, and that's the worry. Yes, we've been a proper tournament team, but in the last three editions, frailties have started showing. We've seen cracks on the wall, and if you start to see that, and you don't get to do something to salvage the situation, then you're heading for ruins. And I think that lies on the table of our administrators. You just
Right.
must help these ladies who day in, day out, put in their all to be the best in their areas. When you assemble them, how do you encourage them psychologically, physically? And I think that might be the worry. But against Zambia, no excuse will cut it. You just must go in there and show to us that was Super Falcons. I love the girls. I love the women. I love everything they brought. I would not be there to blame them all the way. But as human, if they do not do well, we'll come here as journalists and talk about, logically, practically, how the game went and where to apportion blames.
Mm. All right. Thank you for sharing those perspectives on the Super Falcons and the WAFCON. Really, Nigerians are just keeping their fingers crossed that the Falcons can actually pick up the pace as we take
Yeah,
on Zambia. That game comes up on Friday, if my
5
memory serves me
p.m.
correctly.
on Friday. Yes,
5
5
p.m. on
p.m. on
Friday.
Friday at
The
Casablanca,
quarterfinals.
the place we played our last game.
Yes, indeed. So looking
Yeah.
forward to that one. Let's take a very quick break here. When we come back in, we're going to talk about Lamine Yamal, who is in some, he's been investigated over some issues surrounding his 18th birthday. Keep it tuned to find out more about that and so much to come in the locker room. Smooth 98.1. I didn't want to enter that story now because of the break. So let's take the break and then continue. If I enter the story,
Okay.
won't have had time to talk about it. I'll have to cut and then go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let me come and
So
go and then.
I want to probably when you get back, you could just mention the other quarterfinal games, which is Morocco, Mali, then South
Okay.
Africa, Senegal. You could just
Okay, just to briefly go through it like that. Okay.
mention that by passing.
All right, you're in the locker room on a Wednesday morning. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life, love sports as well. 31 minutes past 8 a.m. Ayokunmi here. Alongside me is the one and only Mr. Deep Kehinde Idris. We are taking a look at sporting action from the last 24 hours or thereabouts and bring you up to speed and up to date with what's been going on. It's an interactive session, so that means you also get to share the stage with us. Send your messages on WhatsApp and on YouTube as well. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments in the chat box. We'll take them as we go along. All right. Before we talk about Lamine Yamal, just wanted to mention really quickly, Kenny, I was going to quickly mention the other quarterfinal fixtures, talking about South Africa taking on Senegal. Interesting one. The Algeria is taking on Ghana, as we talked about, and Morocco is taking on Mali. So interesting fixtures also to look forward to.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think the only worry for me is these teams will take out each other, and we're talking about also there's World Cup qualification in there. So, but interesting, pair ups for the quarterfinals.
Yes, indeed. Alrighty, let's talk about what's been going on with Lamine Yamal. Spain's Ministry of Social Rights has asked the country's prosecutor's office to investigate the Barcelona winger after he reportedly hired people with dwarfism to perform at his 18th birthday party. Now, he hosted a party on Sunday at a rented property in Oliveira, a small town 50 kilometers northwest of Barcelona, with guests including YouTubers, influencers, and several of his Barcelona teammates. Now, what is being alleged here is that he had a group of entertainers with dwarfism, something the Association of People with Achondroplasia and other skeletal dysplasias in Spain described as unacceptable in the 21st century. So, on one hand, of course, Lamine has shown over time that he's I don't know whether exotic young man is the word to actually use, but looking at what this group is talking about, is there a legal precedent here, or is this a moral issue at the end of the day?
I think maybe it's coming from more of a moral issue. Now, the Association of People with Achondroplasia and other skeletal dysplasias are the ones who are really calling on prosecutors to look into this. What the quotes, from them is what he had done. It actually perpetuates stereotypes, fuels discrimination, and undermines images and rights of people with disability. Now, dwarfism is termed
Kenny, are you there?
As disability, and dwarfs in question are said to be disabled. But now this is the context. He had a party, he hired them to perform. They felt they were made as an object of mockery. That's because of your stature, because of your look. People get entertained by just looking at you. Look at the way he looks, and then they're laughing and all of that. But we've gone to circus, like we've seen circuses where dwarfs come there to perform. We've seen them also have their association, and one of their thing is performance and all of that. Then going further, we got to speak, got interviews from one of the performers, and he said nobody was disrespected in all of us. We were all respected for our professionalism, and we did what we came there to do, sing, dance, and do a whole lot. And we got everything that we agreed upon, the payment, the way we should be treated. And I feel maybe this body kind of, I'm not trying to play or tilt towards Lamine Yamal, but I feel there is a whole lot taken out of this. I think it should be more relaxed. I feel, yes, the man can be so exorbitant. We all know, musicians are close to him because of the way he handles himself. We've seen entertainers wanting to get, sometimes we forget he's just 17 as of then. Now he's 18. But when those who were there said we weren't treated badly, I think that should drop the case.
You know what? I was going to touch on the fact that these entertainers in question, I want to believe that they were all over the legal age on one hand.
Of
They were not
course,
forced to do anything. And
at all.
also, could this be a case of because of the individual in question, if this were someone else, if it went Lamine Yamal, would this group, this body be making as much of a big deal or a deal out of this than they are?
I feel you're spot on with that. I feel the figure in question also plays a part. I think they look at it as these are figures, these are issues with figures like this that we used to probably create awareness for this setup. And if there is anything wrong there, it is even sweeter to make them pay and send message to the bigger society. But if you have not given me anything that has to do with disrespect or morally bringing these people down, then he had done nothing wrong. Like I had said earlier, we've seen them in different capacity when it comes to performances. And sometimes you use your disability, no disrespect, to also get money for yourself if you don't want to be the type who wants to be laid back. And they felt, okay, people get entertained by with singing, dancing, and love, and they pay to watch us. Why not, be out there? We've seen even reality shows that has, dwarfs coming to perform, and they even get a softer spot from the audience and even the judges. So I feel maybe the figure also played a role, but another angle I won't take out is maybe the team of Lamine Yamal should also help him slow down. I think
Mm.
the man finds a way to do so well with his craft, but also finds a way to enjoy himself so much. And maybe he needs to slow down just a bit. I love his being, but maybe he needs to slow down just a bit because one of the things you don't want is bad PR when you're growing.
Most definitely. I mean, the man is young because we can say man and he's 18. So the man is young, he's talented, of course. So it's one thing to do the business on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, you need to keep things balanced. And I hope
Your your
balance. And I hope
PR
that
your PR can kill everything your talent is doing.
yes, indeed. So
Yeah,
Lamine Yamal should slow down a bit
yeah, yeah.
and keep himself grounded. All right, let's.
Maybe he's trying to enjoy his 18th birthday so well.
Well, you should not enjoy it too much because there's tomorrow to think about.
Of
All
course.
right, let's talk about the Club World Cup final. Yes, we're going back to that, and we're talking
Yeah,
specifically about the scuffle that happened after the game. Now, Paris Saint-Germain manager Luis Enrique said that he was just trying to separate the players after being caught up in a scuffle on the pitch at the end of his team's 3-0 defeat to Chelsea in the Club World Cup final on Sunday. Now, of course, we saw TV footage showing the PSG boss raising his arm to the neck of João Pedro, who had earlier scored Chelsea's third goal following Cole Palmer brace at the MetLife Stadium. Kenny, I mean, we all saw those images and everything.
yeah,
And one
yeah.
thing that I saw, I don't know if I'm wrong here, it seems like PSG have gotten so used to winning that losing like that, they just did not know how to take it or react to it. I don't know if I'm wrong, but hey, let me get your
Yeah.
thoughts.
I think you're super right. I think you're super right. Let me give you a very good example. I'm sure you saw the Champions League last season. Over two legs, Arsenal versus Real Madrid. We saw that kind of arrogance play out with the Real Madrid players. They start becoming too physical. They were talking, they were brash with the way they were talking. Then I can remember at halftime at the Santiago Bernabeu, Saka was leaving, and a Cavalier who didn't play came down from his lofty seat and then accosted Saka saying you should never try a Paneka in Bernabeu. And at first, Saka was taking it for laughs until he took it overboard. Sometimes when you're accustomed to winning and something stops you, especially when it's an underdog stopping you, trust me, arrogance finds a way to play. It takes a special, a team to not, be in that. But from the angle of Luis Enrique can be a hothead, on the pitch and all
Mm,
of that. But we've not seen him been such since he became a coach. Maybe he can talk, everybody talks, everybody gets emotional, very energetic when he understands, but going physical, we've not seen that with him. And that picture, that's why whenever we're talking, in our field, we say don't judge a situation, especially in sports, by a picture. So many times people just see, that hand at the neck of João Pedro, and they say, look at the way he's trying to, strangle or something. But it was just a moment that it happened. While you were pushing, that hand went there. All he was doing was trying to separate the guys from each other. And that's why up until now, FIFA knows disciplinary, actions taken on Luis Enrique, because he was there to just, break the tug, the tussle that was ongoing. So, but for the players, it was evident. They had things to say, they had reactions to give because it didn't go their way. Sometimes you don't even know you're already reacting that way. I can, like I mentioned, the Real Madrid Arsenal thing. At a point, Declan Rice was looking at Jude Bellingham and I was thinking, hey, bro, I'm your brother. We're Englishmen. But now you're getting physical because everybody feels Real Madrid should just throw past Arsenal. But Arsenal made a mincemeat of them over 2 legs. And I think it worries you so many times. When you are the top dog, you are the one that the odds favor. And then the match doesn't favor you, especially in the manner it went for Chelsea. 3-0 first half, it was like a mismatch. We thought it was supposed to be a mismatch for Chelsea, but in reverse, it was a mismatch for, PSG. So I understand their reaction, and I'm sure when they get to see their videos again, they will ask themselves a lot of questions. How come we did this?
How come we did this? A lot of questions. Never seems to get enough answers. All right, because of time, let's just try to run through the rest of the lineup here. But I need to talk about really quickly, just to get your thoughts on this one. The Euro 2025 hosts Switzerland. Their training session scheduled for yesterday was postponed due to a number of players being struck by illness 3 days before their women's Euro 2025 quarterfinal with Spain. Conspiracy theorists will be working overtime now.
I saw that cold. There was a cold ravaged the camp, and about five players thereabout, were down, and it made the training, short. When you have 5 of your super, not fringe players, your super regulars, then you have to worry. And so they said, okay, probably the entire team needs a rest, and I understand they, giving them that rest and all. Let's resume training today, but after they lose to Spain, I don't want to hear that's the excuse. Host nation, Spain, the Spanish team is the best women's team right now. Losing to them, excuse should not come from the angle that it was because we didn't train on Tuesday. But I understand their plight. They needed to call off that training and resume again today.
Right. All right, and let me just squeeze this one in. This situation surrounding Crystal Palace. Their supporters have staged a protest against UEFA's decision to demote the club to the Conference League. There's been issues over ownership and so on and so forth, and the fans are not having it. Kenny, what is happening here?
Yeah, I can remember that situation with Girona last season in the Champions League. Girona, Man City, the same owner, and it's clear. In fact, even in our football, in Nigerian football, where we tend to shift the rules every now and then, you cannot have 2 teams owned by the same person in the same championship, whether it's the league or the cups. So Crystal Palace owners also own another team that is in the Europa League, and so the rule stands. But there was a window. I'm trying to match the first thereabout. There was a window for them to prove to the entire to the UEFA body that the owners are different, because they are already trying to sell a larger share of the Crystal Palace share to another owner that will make it stand as okay, they do not own the same franchise, even if they are doing it for the time being. But they didn't show up. I'm trying to get that date. They didn't show up, and that really played against them for this. And you cannot blame UEFA. They gave you a chance, to prove your case, but you were not there to stand and prove that you're not the owner. So they took their decision and they are demoted to the conference, and the entire fans took a march to Selhurst Park, talking about the home of Crystal Palace, to protest against that. Sometimes the rules are faceless. They do not do it because it's Crystal Palace. They did it because that's what the rule book says. And when you follow the rule book, you don't even see what's in front of you. All you need to do is, whether it's Ayokunmi or Mr. Deep, the rule says if you do this, this would happen. And I think Crystal Palace should understand. I don't know if UEFA will still get to rescind on this decision. I hope they do, because after winning your first major title, which also takes you to the second biggest, club tournament in the world, I think they should enjoy that moment. But if it's not happening, the owners, that is the owners of your club, are the reason for this, not UEFA.
Yes, indeed. And of course, Palace, I believe, are expected to take their case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So let's see how that is going to pan out for them at the end of the day. All right, let me take your messages. This is from Ayonfeda that says, Lamine Yamal committed no crime. The people he hired willingly gave consent and were not exploited in any way whatsoever. This is just a witch hunt against him to attack his reputation because he's a celebrity. Tayo says, Mission X for the Super Falcons still looking like my ex. I hope we don't have to hire Don Carlo Ancelotti to win this X because we're not doing well and NFF is still owing them. That's how former minister said we didn't expect them to win. And then he further says, dance like Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal celebrated his birthday. Spain prosecuted using VAR to check him while Endrick did his own with no controversy. Klingo, where are his parents? I don't know. He then says, it's not only dwarfs, special-sized women are involved. When a teenager is the breadwinner, there's tendency for problems. Ayo, is about Donald Trump still holding Chelsea's original trophy? I need to call my contacts in the White House to find out about that one. I don't know, Tayo. This is from Larry. Larry in the abroad
Who
says
that? By the way, Lamine's family were there with him all through. Yes, maybe at the party, but they were there with him. They knew what he wanted to do. So there wasn't much in that. There wasn't much in that.
All right, Larry in the abroad says Lamine hired a troupe of performing dwarfs. That is literally their job. Another angle is he decided to not discriminate and hire differently abled people. Emmanuel Kelly just performed at the Club World Cup final, and we all agreed that was a beautiful moment. People should be calming down, Joe.
Yes,
and
true.
then this message, okay, there's no name, says, the deadline for submitting documents was in March. Crystal Palace could predict their win, which happened. Crystal Palace couldn't predict their win, which happened in May. Well, it's unfortunate. I think it was March 1st, if I'm correct. March 1st was the actual deadline.
March 1st. They were supposed to show proof by March 1st. And then another painful angle is Nottingham Forest, who finished 7th, will now be taking their position. So that's painful.
Unless it's overturned. Anyways, on YouTube,
Unless it's overturned, yeah.
Clubs are buying players despite actually doing well last season, but United is still negotiating and wasting time. We only have Ahmad as our winger when others have 4 or 5. Another relegation battle? Uchina, calm down. Padre Pio says, Uchina, do not be too worried. United will be buying Jackson from LK's team. MJ. You know what? We need to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for the messages. And thank you so much, Mr. Deep, for taking us into the world of sports this morning.
Yeah, and maybe huge congratulations to Luka Modric, who joined AC Milan. I want to see the next phase. The man is top class. Hopefully, he still has something in his tanks.
Hopefully, he does. All right, we'll be back again on Friday to bring you more from the world of sports in the locker room. But for now, make sure you keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast. 9 o'clock, Lagos Talks is coming up with a great conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.